As a landscape photographer, one of the things that people often ask me about is the post-processing. Now, post-processing has always been a part of the photography process, right from the greats like Ansel Adams, where he did film photography. He still did a huge amount of post-processing, but it was in the darkroom. Today, we do that in Lightroom. And the way we post-process is totally a part of the way you are as a photographer. What do you like to create? Personally, and quite often, I will go for the most natural way of processing a landscape because I want to keep that natural and artistic feel right through the photography process, from shooting it in the field to doing the post-processing and then in the final print. Now, when I do my post-processing, what I'm trying to do is to bring that raw file up that I've shot at the scene up to the point where it matches what I actually saw at the time, but also how I felt about that scene. That's easy to do sometimes than it is on other occasions. Now, one picture that I have here is shot on a day when it was very bad weather. This image here is in the Lake District, and this is the final image that's been post-processed. This probably goes a little bit further than I often would with my post-processing, but it's a nice way to post-process what is a fairly dreary day. So if I just click this button down here, we can see what the original raw file was. Now, raw file is just the digital negative, it's not the final image. If we shoot in JPEG, the camera is adding things like contrast, like saturation. The raw file doesn't do that, so we need to add that in post-processing. And so here I've added all of that, but I've added some extra drama to it because it gives that feeling of the day. I was high up on a mountain in the Lake District and it was cold, it was raining, and it felt quite lonely, although enjoyable. And that was the emotion that I was trying to put into that image. And in this one, that's been done at the post-processing stage. Now, post-processing is, like I was saying, a totally personal thing. Some people will like to go a bit further than others. The thing is, there's no right or wrong. What you do is totally down to you. It's your vision, it's your artistic vision, and it doesn't really matter what genre of photography you're doing as well. I've shot wedding photography in the past, and I like to have punchy, powerful images, whereas other people like to have a slightly softer, more natural feel to them. There is no right or wrong. It's just about what you like and also what your client likes in that case. But with landscape photography, I just want to be as natural as possible. But there are times when I'll go a little bit further, for reasons maybe that I couldn't remove a rock from the scene I had. So if we look at this next image, this is a picture of Derwent Water in the Lake District, looking towards one of the biggest mountains. Now, I really love this image because it was a fantastic morning with that low mist that was fairly thin, so you could see through it just about to those distant mountains. And it was such a calm morning with no wind. And it really evoked that emotion of you've got to sometimes just look a little bit deeper at what you're doing, what the scene is. And through that curiosity, you might find something new out and something special. And I feel that's what happened with this image. However, in order to tell that story, I've had to remove that rock there. So that's the original file. What I was initially planning with this was to have a duck come across into the scene. But that's, as the time went on and I was shooting the scene, that quite clearly wasn't going to work. So I've decided in my post-processing to remove that rock. I've enhanced the colour, I've enhanced the whites and the blacks to create that image. And just by removing that rock, it has given that smooth feel to it and just evoked that emotion that I felt on the day of calmness, of stillness. The foreground is now free of distraction, which just forces you almost as the viewer to look through that mist towards those trees and towards those mountains. And by just putting your personality into the whole photography process, but particularly into post-processing, will let you create images that are true to you, they're authentic to you, and we can translate our message, our story to the viewer in the best way possible for you.